Shalati. There atop the wall, you see the great Aranakis, its eyes fixed upon the gates of town. The large tail sways back and forth. You see a slow cant of its head. And you see the other dock workers on the wall, eyes uncertain. A couple of them glance towards you. You hear Yev's voice. Hey, what do you see?
Right. We've trained for this. Get your bows up. I'll try to lead it away, but if it starts coming toward the town, the old and the children, they need to go to the they need to go to the forest, try and get away. Maybe in a place where it can't be seen as easily, and they can scatter. And the people who can bear arms should stand in the way, and if it starts coming after them, then shoot arrows at it in the way that we trained. But first, let me see if I can get it to come somewhere else.
At the moment, I want to say it's about a quarter mile out from the wall. Yev kind of makes his way, clattering up the ladder to where he's. Shalati, you can't go out there. You can't go outside the walls.
This thing is big. It's taller than the walls, right?
It's about the same height, actually.
Oh, okay.
The walls you guys built are pretty big.
Do we dig ditches in front of it as well?
I don't know if you've gotten around to that quite yet.
She looks at Yev and says, at least with the height of the walls, it's in a pretty decent position. If it comes close enough, it can hack at its head and aim for the eyes. You should go for the eyes if you can.
His eyes go wide a little bit at the thought of actually having to fight the thing, and looks at it and looks at you. He goes, "That's so big. Well, you can't go out there. If you go, I have to go with you."
If I go, you have to stay so that someone else can. You have a good sense of timing. You can tell the others when to shoot and when not to.
You see his eyes narrow a little bit. He says, "No, if you go, I'm going with you. That's the cost."
I am faster than you. You can't keep up with me.
He wavers a little bit. Roll persuasion.
Oh, I'm still talking to myself. Do you want me to reroll or just paste what I got?
Yeah, just reroll. I didn't get anything from it. Yeah, near his eyes, but no, not this time. I'm not letting you go alone.
There's an array of expressions flickers across her face, and then she looks at the Aranakis standing outside and realizes she doesn't have time for this, and looks to the others. There's a moment of debate across her face, and then is there someone nearby who has proven themselves to be sort of fairly steady of head?
All of the dock workers that you guys have positioned on the walls they're pretty reliable. You also, looking down the road from the wall top, you can see the Thedrian on his way.
Okay. She looks at the nearest one and claps him on the shoulder and says, "Until vetted the Inquisitor, not the Inquisitor, the verdict."
Spoilers.
The verdict is coming, but until he gets here, if it comes closer, you know what to do. It's just like we trained with the practices and the drills.
Yeah. And as soon as you say that, several of them, pull arrows from their quivers and knock them in their bows. They don't draw, but you can see them standing at the ready. You can see the training, the expressions on their faces, and the practice movements kick in.
And then she looks to Yev and says, "If you come with me, I want you to do what I say out there. No fighting back, no hesitation. I have to know that I can depend on you so that the plan can go through."
You see him, he's hesitant for a moment. And his expression hardens as he nods. Okay.
He takes a deep breath and then says, all right, when we're out there, I'm going to get his attention. I want you to circle around toward the back and make sure if it starts to move away from me toward the walls, you want to try and redirect it back to me.
Okay. You can see he gets a little nervous.
Yeah. If you have any rations or something you can throw, maybe use that to throw it back toward me. Something of that nature. But,
Yeah, his eyes widen. He goes to his pouch and pulls out some like dried meats, and he goes, maybe it's an animal. Maybe it's dumb.
Definitely an animal. I don't know about being dumb, but if it's here to eat, then we can at least hopefully give it something better than a stone wall. And then she's saying this while they're clattering down the steps down the wall and going toward the gate.
Just as a note, the walls are mostly wood.
Thudding down the wall and then going toward the gate. And then and then they're gonna exit, and she is basically going to indicate the direction for Yev to go, while she circles in a direction that is as directly away from the walls as she can get. But she's going to like sort of slowly, carefully start advancing toward the big Aranakas.
There's cranking of gears as the person at the control opens the gate just enough. Ooh, hiccups. Opens the gate just enough for you, and you have to slip out. We'll say you slip off to the right, and Yev goes to the left. You hear the gates close behind you. The ground between you and the great Aranakas is mostly low grass, yellowed by the early winter. It's still quite a ways out. It's a little hard at this point to know what it's focused on, but it's looking in the direction of the town for sure.
She's just going to keep walking toward it, the spear out at one side, slightly behind her. Just the other hand relaxed and loose. And she'll keep walking toward it until she's within 60 feet.
Toward the... Okay.
For the Arnox, yeah.
Yeah, so you're moving that way. Quite a ways to go. Are you moving directly toward it, or are you circling off to the side?
I'm trying to circle off so that when I finally get within 60 feet, I am on the other side, so that, well, basically I want to be able to intercept it, but also be able to start leading it away if I can get his attention. Okay. So I don't want to lead it toward. I don't want to be in between it and the walls just yet. Maybe 90 degrees would be good.
Okay. Yeah, you begin to move across the grasslands. You see your younger brother moving the opposite direction. The creature doesn't seem to really react very much at first to what you're doing. You see its head kind of moves as though it's looking across the landscape, the town, some of the farms that dot on the eastern side. You see it cranes its big head down towards the ground. Almost seems to be sniffing. Takes a few steps. You've covered about half the distance at this point. Now you're close enough to where it swivels its head over towards you. You see its eyes fix on you.
How close am I exactly at this point?
We're gonna say you're 300 feet away.
Okay. She stops at the moment. When she sees, well, she hesitates really is what it is. And then she keeps walking, sort of starting to circle around, calling out, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." Psst, 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 psst. And she's actually just saying, psst, psst, psst.
Gotcha. Where you are right now is relatively flat grassland. Looking back, you could potentially make it to the cover of the town walls if you needed to. Farther in the west, there are some low ditches and things like that where the ground is uneven, some creeks. but it's about equidistant from where you are now to where the creature is. You're about halfway in between those. As you take... Yev's hung back a bit, so you're closer to the creature than Yev is. But it does take one step towards you. You see its tail goes back and forth.
Look hungry?
It's not emaciated. It's kind of hard to know what's motivating it at this point, but it's muscled, looks to be in good health.
She's going to start backing away, keeping her eyes fixed on it, calling out to it. Just words. She's not even really entirely sure what she's saying. They're just spilling out of her. Funny to see you here. What brings you to our end? We built walls to keep things out, but weren't quite expecting you to make yourself known at this point. Did you see my friends? I hope not, but if you had eaten them on the way, I don't think you'd be here. I think you would be digesting someone or so. Maybe that's a good sign. And she's basically going in this vein, just trying to continually keep its focus on her.
Okay. Are you moving closer toward it, or are you keeping your distance as you're saying these things?
I am going to get fractionally closer, just to make sure that it doesn't lose interest in me. So maybe like I'm backing up, but I'm backing up slowly so that it has time to get closer to me as it's taking each step.
Okay. And it only took the one step so far. It's sort of observing you. You can see Yev is still not as close as you are, and he's circling around to its sort of blind side. It takes another step and then another, and shakes the ground. It's still pretty far from you, more than 200 feet. And you hear like a low, bassy sort of sound in its body that you can kind of feel in your heels, in your bones. You can see its eyes are fixed on you.
Oh, what is bringing you here? How did you end up in this place anyway? She's backing up. Why are you? What are you thinking? And she's just gonna keep doing this. She wants to draw it out of the way and basically as far away from the walls as she can. She's trying to buy time for people to evacuate as necessary for the weaker folks in town and for the people on the walls to prep.
You can see that. You can see the figures dotting the top of the wall. It's obviously hard to know what's going on inside. One of the figures that you recognize as Vithedrian's silhouette, a bit larger than the others, is taking a place on one of the turrets, parapets, whatever they're called. The creature looks at you, glances back towards the town, back towards you. Roll animal handling. You see the creature. Casey's tapping something. The creature fixes its eyes on you for a moment, and then you see it sort of turn its head and shift its body. It turns its head so it sees Yev.
She is immediately going to break into a run toward the Aranakis.
All right. You lean and break off in a run towards the creature. That bit of movement catches its attention and it snaps its head back towards you. Something about that movement seems to... it responds to it. And you see it starts moving towards you. Big feet smashing the ground as it moves, throwing up the grass. Yev he's still much farther away from you than you, but as he sees this, he takes off and around towards the creature as well.
I think once I get within 60 feet of it, she's just gonna run straight toward it at this point. No hesitation in a beeline. And once she gets within 60 feet of it, unless it has a reach of 60, and it does something before then.
No, yeah. Yes, the two of you are moving towards each other. You see it first. As the creature starts moving, it only moves about as fast as you do. But as over time, as it's building up a speed, its speed gets to be quite fast. And you can realize that once it gets going, it can go faster than it can when it starts, if that makes any sense. But it's heading straight towards you. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, from a distance, so you realize you're at the 60-foot mark as you've practiced.
She is going to, she digs in her heels, skids to a stop, the dirt flying out from her feet, and calls out in a sibilant string of words, something that is the abyssal equivalent of and then also says also in abyssal, there we go, keep your eyes on me, keep your attention on me, don't look at anyone else. And she keeps babbling essentially, and within herself she draws forth a thing that she has seen her father do occasionally. She's never really had a chance to practice this before, but there's a certain upwelling of will, focuses, her world is narrowing to just the Arnakis. So that should be I believe it's actually a 12, not a 0.
Okay, DC 12.
It's either 12 or 13.
Sorry to get my sheet out. And that is wisdom
I think,
saving throw.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's DC 12.
It's the wrong character sheet. That sounds just mislabeled on my side. Ooh, that is an 11.
Okay.
Yeah, so your spell succeeds. Yeah, tell us a little bit about what has to happen.
So its eyes focus on her, and then you see as she is weaving the string of words that are probably nonsense to it, but her own eyes flash for a moment to the vision of the Arnakis. Suddenly it seems like everything else dims except for her and whatever traits it uses to determine appeal. Suddenly she just is way more interesting and way more fascinating than anything else around at the moment. And its head tracks as she's dug her feet in, and then she whips around and starts running away at an angle, a 90-degree angle from it, away from the town. She's trying to make it, hopefully lose some speed by changing direction.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you skid on your heel, switch direction. This thing's eyes focus on you. It comes barreling straight towards you. Make an athletics ability check in order to change direction and quick enough to avoid its jaws. Ooh, 18 athletics, yeah. You hear the giant jaws snap beside you as you take off at a sharp angle. Dirt and grass are kicked up around you. Just the impact of the creature's steps. You can feel almost jostle the ground beneath you and send you stumbling for just a moment, but you keep your feet. You've taken off at a deep angle, and you hear the sound of the impact of its feet as it's changing direction to try to follow just after you, fixed entirely on you.
Is there a cliff anywhere nearby, even within like a 90-degree change? Like the ocean?
Yes, but that's, 15, 20 minutes away.
Okay. Well, I think she will start to head that way. We'll see how far it actually gets. She glances back over her shoulder once and seeing it still follow, she puts on a burst of speed. So she can basically go 90 feet with bonus action dash, moving, and then regular action to dash.
All right. Yeah. So you take off with a full sprint as fast as you can go, heading, I assume, in an off angle, kind of towards the north, but trying to head towards like cliffs and not the town, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. You take off in a sprint, and you hear the creature. At first, you're gaining distance. And then after not very long at all, 20 seconds, you hear it getting closer. The creature is getting close now. Close enough you realize you have to do something, or it's going to be on you.
What's nearby? What's around me? Is it still grassland?
It's just grassland right now.
Are there... Okay. I think she is... When she realizes this, she's going to throw herself into a tumble, come back up to her feet, and spin around. And when it gets close enough, she's going to launch herself at his legs to try and get close enough to climb up onto it.
All right. Yeah, you dive into a tumble, spin around, facing the creature. And as you spin around, you can see the fixation in its face. A predator hunting prey. And it stomps after you. You go to make your maneuver, but it's sweeping its jaws in for an attack at you.
Can I also... Actually, it may be too late for this. It's fine.
Good.
As she launches herself at it, her head goes down and her eyes slit, and she goes into a rage.
Oh, all right, yeah, that'll work. I mean, you definitely knew what's going on here, so you have time. Yeah, so you go into a rage, and it is going to take a bite at you with its massive jaws. That is a 7 to attack. I assume that is not going to hit you.
Holy shit. Good
all right,
thing.
yeah. Just jaws scoop up dirt, and rocks and loose grass. And you're able to dive beneath it. You're kind of down, like between its feet right now.
So she is going to... Actually... Yeah, actually. As she is between its feet, and she has the spear in hand, or the glaive in hand, she slides by and she's going to try and strike it with both hands on the weapon.
Alright, make an attack. There's a 17 to hit, which will hit this creature. How much damage?
So 15 slashing damage.
Ooh, all the good rolls Pris is taking.
For real.
Here, not for the first one, but...
Yeah, your blade cuts across the creature's hard scales. They're certainly softer on the underside than on the top, but it's still a formidable enemy. Yeah, so the creature is going to... you slash along the underside, and it's sort of still carrying with its momentum, so it takes a few steps. But then you see it kind of widens its feet out. It brings its tail out like it's going to turn around towards you, and then it swipes the tail at you.
Oops, yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah, it's a 20. It's going to be 11 bludgeoning damage. You need to make a DC 14 strength saving throw.
So I get advantage on that because of rage.
All right.
Fortunately.
All right. Yeah. So you're not knocked back into the ground.
And 6.
Yeah. But yeah, the tail impacts you hard enough to hurt. You catch it out of the corner of your eye. You have still a ways away, but he's on the way. You can see some movement on the walls. What do you want to do?
Since it has stopped at this point, she's going to use her bonus to disengage, and then she's going to start running again.
Which direction?
Same direction she was going before. Toward the cliffs away from town.
Yeah, ultimately I think that'll work. You probably can't immediately do that because it ran past you, but ultimately I know what you're going for. Yeah, so you run off the side and you're curving that way. Yeah, so you make it up. I assume you're not bloodied, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, despite the ache in your side, you're immediately making distance on the creature. And you hear the impacts on the ground, but the same thing starts to happen. You're keeping your distance, but now it's gaining up. It's catching up with you. And you realize again, it's right close enough behind you, you have to do something.
No. I don't necessarily want to keep doing the same thing again and again.
Whatever works. I will say, where you are right now, you're equidistant between the walls of the town and like a small kind of farming shed. Either of those you could reach in a couple of turns. You're really far from the cliffs, though.
Right. I think she's gonna start making... Well, this time she's knowing that she's closer to the shed. She's gonna keep running, even though she realizes that it's going to probably reach her. And basically, she's just gonna try keeping an eye out. Like, her eyes are half closed, and she's got all her senses alive and out there. Her ears straining, her nose wide, mouth half open, as she dashes toward this shed for maybe a teeny bit of cover, or, maybe something to help a little bit.
All right. Yeah, you hear the impacts on the ground. Closer and closer and closer. At that last minute, you make a sprint for the house, and you almost feel the shadow of the creature overcome you as it reaches out with a bite. Well, a 16 at you.
Yep, that will hit me.
Alright, you're looking at 15 points of piercing damage.
She ducks to the right at that last moment, so that some of it doesn't quite hit her as hard. This is just narrating damage resistance.
That's good. Yeah, but you feel the scrape of the teeth against your back sends you probably stumbling, but not necessarily to the ground. The creature, it didn't catch you in its jaws, but you can feel the threat if it gets either side of its mouth onto your body.
Sorry, I realized I calculated my hit points incorrectly while DDB was down. So I'm just doing some quick math.
Okay.
Alright, got it. And am I at the shed now, or do I still need to run?
Yeah, you'll still need to run. You're more than one turn away from it right now. Right now it's grasslands.
Okay.
You can see the shed there. You're at the beginning of that turn. You're the same distance from the gates and from the shed, I should say.
Seeing as it has reached her, she is going to once again stop and take a swipe at it, as she believes it can't stop on a dime as quickly as she can. So she's going to spin, whirl, draw the glaive along its ankles.
Alright, make an attack. Ooh, an 18 will hit. What's your total damage?
10 slashing.
Alright. Yeah, you slam the glaive into the creature more, scrapes into the scales, leaving grooves in the tough plates. You can tell this creature is quite strong, but you are hurting it. You continue to sprint as fast as you can for that shed. It is right on there after you now. And you're not changing direction, right? You're just trying to make it to the shed as quick as you can. Yeah, there's a stomp. The creature... you hear a hard impact, different rhythm than you'd heard before. And there's just a gap in the sound of the footfalls. You catch a glimpse over your shoulder. And you realize
Cool.
Yeah, you almost feel the shadow of the creature in the air just behind you, and then comes down just behind you. So you need to make DC 15 dexterity saving throw.
The wrong thing. Hang on a second. Yeah. 24.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you only take half as much damage and you are not knocked down.
So what's the... Oh, so it's 5. So divided by 2, that's 3.
Mm-hmm.
I can do math.
Yeah, you stumble, but you don't fall as you sprint for that shed. Actually, you get a turn here in between. At the end of your next turn... Actually, you're taking a turn now. At the turn, at the end of the turn after this one, after your movement, you'll reach the shed.
Disengage, dash.
Okay. Yeah, you hear the... you take off in a sprint. It's so close now. You can still hear the pounding of the creature, and it lashes out at you with another bite of its jaws. You can feel the hot breath on the back of your neck. Hear the deep guttural sounds of its vocal cords. Will a 10 hit you?
It would not.
All right, you hear the snapping of jaws, but you evade the blow. Better able to anticipate it this time. Your turn.
Has she reached the shed at this point?
You will at the end of your movement.
Okay. She has kept up this string of words, speaking this entire time. Sort of this low encouragement of, that's right, keep following me. Let's try and get to this thing as soon as possible. Don't know what it'll do me really, but maybe something in the way. Maybe we can get her some little light demolition. And she is running as fast as she can, her breath scraping in her lungs, more winded than she would like. She's not bloody yet, but she's definitely taking some hard impacts.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so as you make a sprint for it, tell us the story as you reach that shed and smash in through that door.
I don't think she's actually going to go into the door, but she will circle around, and she basically catches onto the edge of the frame, uses it to stop herself, and then goes around the other side. She's gonna break line of sight, and then we'll try to hide.
All right. Well, you definitely get the opportunity because as soon as you go around that corner, the shed explodes. Bits of wood and things go flying all over the place as the creature just runs through it almost entirely. You're able to perhaps find some cover under some of the debris. Please roll your hide skill. That is a 20.
Dirty 20.
The shed explodes and you find yourself able to roll sort of into a ditch as a large plank of wood almost falls perfectly on top of you. You can hear the smashing sound of the creature taking a few steps. You hear digging through the dirt, a low chortling growl. Not chortling, a low growl at the base of its throat. Meanwhile...
So, do you guys want to spend another day at the spa, or...?
It was really nice.
You guys, I am so nervous, I'm literally shaking a little bit.
You're basically
You should be.
soloing a dinosaur.
Yeah, the small boss. And not only that, but you're doing well. I don't know what hex you placed on the DM so that you were like half the roll. It's incredible, though. It's like you're being rewarded for doing ballsy and dedicated RP decision making. I think that's what I've learned from this after watching Isaac and you. You just if it's in the nature of your character, you just do it, and the dice gods are basically like, here you go, you'll survive.
Like, I see what you're doing. All right.
Yeah.
Or a glorious death, either way, you know.
When I did that my first session, I ended up naked face down in the grass and kidnapped by Spawn.
You did.
Either one's good.
It was a great session, though.
All right.
But
You know what?
seriously, guys, we're out of grapes.
Yeah.
Well, if you hadn't spent the past hours just feeding them to everybody by hand while we all relaxed and had shoulder rubs.
I'm gonna. One more day won't be that bad, right? I mean, what could possibly be happening in our small sleepy town?
Absolutely nothing. We should absolutely take this opportunity and nap the day away.
Agreed.
I really just want to spend more time, pulling some weeds.
Right? And look at the garden, all nice and cleaned up.
It feels really important.
Meanwhile, Poppy is hunting a field mouse.
Or a snake. Maybe she's hunting a snake.
Yeah, maybe a snake. Perfect.
Snake is proving surprisingly effective at fleeing.
Poppy, leave that snake alone. Didn't do anything to you.
You can see the Poppy smash this birdhouse, and it's just sticking up the ground. All right. So to start to set the stage, so we know at least something about where we are. It is the morning. It is the next morning. You guys have had your long rest. Esmond and certainly some others busy out in the fields, gathering vegetables and things from the farm. The alpacas and the sheep seem pretty tolerant of what you're doing, as long as you. There seems to be a part of the field they don't want you to be kind of near, and they kind of give you some trouble. But there's so much field there that you're not going to harvest it all anyway yourselves.
Have we taken the time to do the collecting of whatever foods we were going to gather before we head back? Are we pretty much... What I was trying to ask earlier in the week was just, is there anything else people want to do? Or are we pretty well packed up and ready, and we're kind of just debating on going back to town?
It just depends on how much time you want to put into that, right? So there's a certainly hourly yield for how much you can farm, I guess, right? So it's up to you how long you're spending.
Ava would suggest in the morning that we just, we should, I guess, bring back whatever we can so that we still make it back to the waypoint before dark, so we can set up and then just collect whatever we can. We'll get more later, right?
Yeah, out of character. Esmond was only planning on spending maybe 1 or 2 hours harvesting, along with Peach and a couple other people. I think that'd be enough. With 1 or 2 hours between a handful of people, I think that'd get us almost maybe 100 pounds of harvested food. So I think that'd be fine. And then after that's done, we're more or less set to go.
To set that moment visually, I think Sal would have helped box things up, crate things up, kind of using some of his warehousing experience with the docks to help make it more transportable as y'all gathered. So scraps of wood and things from probably a wheelbarrow or two that's left, honestly.
Oh, it's all getting shoved into bags that Esmond and
Oh, right,
Peach
you have super bags. Either way, nice organized labeled boxes to put into said bags.
Nice.
Araya's in the temple. Well, she spent the morning maybe in the garden helping out, weeding and whatnot, but back at the temple. Going to stop at Saloise's room is her plan, but nothing too fancy.
All right. Just your mic is much quieter than it usually is. I have you at 150%.
Yeah, I was like,
That's weird, because I haven't
really low? I
changed
can't hear you.
Now it's out completely for me.
Out of curiosity, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Loud and clear from a nice room temperature room.
It's actually warm in here. It's great. I can feel my toes again. That's wonderful.
It might be worth it for me just to reboot. My computer's a little bit grumpy. But I'll be back. Saw Luisa's room. She plans to visit Saw Luisa's room.
Wait, did you say you're restarting, or you are back?
Yeah, she's gonna do that. That's fine. Should I burn that room before Jess gets back, or would you want to wait till? No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to say something before you restarted.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll come back to her scene. What are you guys up to?
Doc would be double checking, I guess, around the insides, just sort of like doing the thing where you kind of like pull on doors to make sure we've sealed up the things tight and got things locked down. Yeah, doing the last little, checking on things before you leave, basically.
Sal's standing with Esmond, reviewing inventory with a small notebook. So we have, 15 pounds of sweet potatoes, how many pounds of turnips? And they all fit in those bags. You're sure they're there, and when he'd pull them out, we'll know where to find them. You just kind of reach in the right corner.
Esmond will actually hold his bag out to Sal. I mean, just think, just picture what it is that you're reaching for, and just reach in and grab it.
Okay, he does that. Of course, while he presents himself as very disciplined, the first thing he thinks of when he looks inside of there is a fine silk scarf. You get anything?
There is no scarf.
He didn't say it.
They've known each other long enough. Esmond knew.
Oh, right. I have to. Turnips. I'll try again.
And you get 1 or 2 decent looking turnips.
This thing don't make any logical sense.
It's extraplanar theory stuff. I can try and explain it. I don't fully understand it myself entirely. It's I kind of cheated when putting this together. Get the gist of it. If you want to, if you need a rundown at some point, I can pull everyone into the workshop and try and give like a 101 on the physics and magic of how it works.
Hold it open.
Holding it open.
Casey from 20 feet away tosses a turnip towards the bed.
I'm passing by, having overheard part of this, watching as Casey does this. The trajectory of the turnip changes in mid-flight. Just a little, to be very obvious that it was pushed to the side. And Ava sort of like looks on with a grin, and then sort of like looks over at Esmond, having watched what she did with Sal. She comes up a little bit closer to him in the room and says, I know, so you haven't shown everyone how to use this, right?
The bag? I mean,
Right, but Sal, you didn't know, you just think about something and then grab it. You haven't told everyone, have you, Ez?
I haven't had a chance to, explain how it works to everybody yet.
I think you should. And then she's going to go on to describe how one person of your choice who doesn't already know, in order to make the bag work, you tell them some ridiculous ritual, like needing to clap their hands together, rub them together, clap them once, and say whatever it is they're going to get before they take it out. I think Peach already knows how to use the bag, otherwise that would be perfect. But, I think there are a few other people that it could probably work on. It would be kind of funny, I think. She demonstrates. tomato. Maybe it could use some work, but it's got legs. All right, that's enough fun. I just thought of that joke. I wanted Desmond to do it. I wanted it to be done on Sal, but you'd already learned, so.
Casey runs up. Wind must have caught that one. Are we about ready here?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be good to get back.
Alright, test your mic.
Is it any better?
I mean, it's a good
That's
quality.
not a face.
It's a good
Not
quality.
a face if it's better.
No, it's a good quality, but something's just like turned down on it. Just double check your settings and stuff. Like start with your Windows settings or Mac settings.
The strangest thing is that it was working earlier.
It sounds good now, but you're leaning very close to it, I assume.
Yeah, I got it right up in my face.
Yeah, so yeah, just is there a dial on it that can adjust the gain?
Yeah.
Physical dial? Yeah, adjust that.
Yeah, I mean, so I made it very big. I don't know if that's...
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, sounds good to me. No.
Is this okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. And then I can turn you back down.
This is good. Is it? I'm just okay. If I have it like here.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so you said you wanted to visit. Yeah, so you find yourself standing outside of Saloise's room, door closed. She closed it when she left all that time ago. It's been closed since. You're not pressing transmit? No, you're not pressing the button. Oh no, you're not lighting up.
Why do you keep trolling us, Jess? What is this?
Lair. You're Lair.
Why? Why is she doing this to us, Chris? Look at her. She's enjoying it. She's pretending to talk even now.
You are not lighting up green as though you are not pressing the transmit key. Hold on, just restart Discord.
Yeah, it was literally just working.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Shalani, the giant Arnaka.
Yeah!
Guess we should do that.
Oh, I heard the music come back. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Charlotte, you hear the and back. The creature's foot on the ground. Sniffs. There. Doesn't seem to see you.
So I think at this point, because I stopped speaking, it's no longer enthralled by me. But is it still within reach?
Yeah, it seems it's I mean, you can't see it because you're under this board, but you definitely know it's nearby. You see maybe a flick of its tail go by. You hear it stepping.
Her eyes close and she listens, feels the wind stirring on her cheeks, and then surges up out of her hiding place with both hands on the glaive and is going to make an attack. I believe I get advantage because I'm hidden and it didn't see me.
I believe
And
so.
because of that, I'm going to apply sneak attack as well.
All right, let's do it.
Ballsy.
gonna try and use my inspiration, unless I have a destiny point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you guys already have. We'll say I'm sure everyone has 5, so let's just say you have 5 until I can actually count.
Are you rolling? I can't see anything.
Yeah, we can't.
I had talked to myself turned on
Why do you keep doing this?
because I'm trying to mess around with the character sheet, and I don't.
Oh,
want to,
okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Should I just do a regular reroll then?
Yeah, just make the rolls it's for the first time.
Way to cycle through those bad rolls. No wonder you've been doing so good.
16.
A 16 will hit this creature. How much total damage?
That is 13. Wait. Yes. Okay, that's 13 slashing.
Oof.
Yeah, your glaive cuts into the creature, and you hear a roar coming from it. It whips its head down toward you.
Did you roll advantage there?
Oh, I did not. Thank you.
Oh yeah, just in case you had the critical. Nice.
No crit.
Close. No crit. No crit.
And I rolled a 1 yet again on my damage for my d10.
Jeez. All right. Yeah. So that's certainly your action. What do you want to do?
I think, and before she had gone, she took a breath and sets herself, and she's going to use Second Wind to regain a little bit of HP.
All right.
D10. This one. So she regains 10. And that's it for now. She's basically within range, like under its feet.
Yeah. So having basically popped up out of nowhere, slashing this creature's underside as it was searching for you, you drive it back, a step or two, and it lowers its head and it roars incredibly loud in your face. The sound of like 10 different animals overlapped. You can feel it in your bones, blowing your hair back, shaking the earth. I need you to make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. 22 will succeed. So you'll take half of this much damage, which is a base of 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
As it roars in her face. Oh, sorry.
No, and you suffer none of the other effects.
As it roars in her face, she tilts her head up and wipes some of the spittle off her face, and then spits to the side.
Alright, so it's your turn.
Yeah, I think she is going to circles to the side warily. I think she assumes that. Well, no, she's going to glance, see if Yev is nearby.
You glance, out of the corner of your eye, and you see that Yev, when the shed exploded, Yev had kind of stopped, kind of in indecision. He's still pretty far away, but as you see him, as you've gotten up, you've seen him. He's making his way closer, but still kind of trying to circle to the back of the creature almost.
Does he have a bow? Or a crossbow? No, he has a sling, doesn't he?
Remind me what you guys outfitted him with. I remember I was thinking
I think
sword.
it was a sling that he had.
Okay. He has a melee
Like
weapon, though.
He has a spear, I believe, because we basically did the minimum for everyone, so...
Okay, spear sling. All right, sounds good.
She calls out to him. Stay back, watch the tail, and his roar is mighty. Hit them from afar if you can. And as she says that, she is going to make another sweeping strike up at it. Yeah, that's it.
Make your attack. $17 will hit.
17? Or 14 slashing?
Alright. Yeah, and the creature's knocked back by the blow, stumbles a full step, some wood crunches under its feet, some debris goes flying. It is going to...
Can I...
Go ahead.
Is there any way I can circle around to break its line of sight and hide? With my bonus?
With the shed destroyed, there's no opportunity for hiding kind of in the situation.
Is there anything, like, a forest nearby, or is it all grasslands at this point?
I mean, when you say close by, you're talking like 10 minutes out of combat walk.
Okay, then never mind.
At this point, you're probably at a full run, 7 or 8 turns kind of from the gates.
Oh, I just meant, like, rocks or something.
Yeah, nothing that would provide hiding opportunity, just like potential maneuvering stuff.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Yev's still trying to maneuver, especially if you've called out to him now. He's definitely seems to have made the decision to engage. He's moving closer. He's still probably at the end of next turn he'll be there. You maneuvering with the creature, you've slashed it, and it makes another chomp down at you with its jaws. Oof, that's a 20 net on the die for 11 piercing damage.
Okay.
Yeah, teeth scrape into your armor. Your armor?
I do not have armor.
Yeah, scrapes across your skin, knocking you back. The creature takes a few steps, big tail swaying back and forth. You can smell the creature's breath, the scent of the woods, the land.
Is there any way I can, like, it's too big for me to shove, I assume. But is there any way I can maybe... Is there any way I can try and use the net to tangle up his feet and knock it prone?
This
It's not technically what it does, but yeah.
Yeah, this creature's probably way too big for the net. Like, I don't think you could entangle it in the net.
Okay. I think then feeling how tired she is getting and seeing that it doesn't seem to really be flagging at all, she thrusts the spear up or back into the back of her belt. And then she's going to try and grab onto... she's going to... If I climb onto it, would that be a grappling thing, or would that just be an athletics check?
I think for trying to get onto like large creatures like this, that's going to be like athletics checks and things like that. But those do happen at disadvantage for a living creature that's resisting you.
Okay. Well, basically I'm asking because if it can be used as a grapple instead of, actually grappling it, just climbing onto it, I can do that as a bonus action if I get unarmed. Otherwise, I'll just make an attack. Otherwise I'll just make an action.
Yeah, climbing on it is like a full endeavor.
Okay. Then she braces herself, and then she springs toward it and tries to dig her fingers into its legs and its sides and swing around and climb up onto its back.
All right. Please make disadvantage athletics ability check.
It's not just climbing
Not for
because of my gloves.
climbing. On a creature. Does it give you like what does it do? Does it give you advantage or?
It adds +5.
You know what? I think yeah. Let's do it. I like the boldness.
So that's 17.
All right. Let's. Ooh, well, your 17 beats a 13. Yep. So leaping on, you grab onto the ridges of bone in the creature's hard exterior. Yeah, you get a grip.
She climbs swiftly, as surely as she can, which is not as sure as she would have hoped. Feeling the gloves with their odd creepiness, their little barbs that sheen out of the tips, grabbing feathers and pulling herself up. I think that might be all of her action, but she's going to try and do something else next time.
All right, yeah. The creature responds by it kind of takes a couple circle steps, tries to snap at you twice, but you're kind of out of its reach of where it can kind of touch on its own body because you're too close. It takes a few steps, and you hear a low growl. There's a discerning as the eye. You're almost in eye contact with the creature at that point as its head turned, and there's a dangerous and clever discerningness in its eye. Anyway, let's maneuver that way. That's all it does with that turn. We're going to say it's taken the dodge action essentially at this moment. You see that Yev is moving closer at this point, and you see him fumbling with a stone, putting it into a sling, and he's starting to whirl it up. Your turn.
She climbs up a little bit more. I don't think I can do that. So, when in doubt, with one hand clinging onto a scale, she rears back, draws her fist back, and is just going to try and punch it in the eye.
All right, give it a roll.
$17.
17 hits.
That's 6 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah. So your fist impacts with the creature's head, and there's a roar from the creature that's a higher tone than you heard before, and it flinches with that eye and kind of jerks its head away. It takes a few steps now in that direction. Boom, boom, feet hitting the ground. And then there's like almost a moment of weightlessness as the creature kind of tilts onto its side and then lands its entire weight down onto the side that you're on, just dropping onto its side. I need you to make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
16, so you will take half of this much damage. Yeah, the creature rolls into its side and kind of then finishes rolling over kind of onto its feet. Do you want to stay held on, or do you want to
She does want to stay held on. Yeah.
Okay.
She moves out of the way somewhat, but isn't quite quick enough to move entirely, escape the full weight. And she grimaces and as something in her arm goes thing, so she is bloodied officially.
All right, twinge in your side. All right, yeah, in the arm. Yeah, so make the climbing check again to hold on, because as it rolls over.
Still disadvantage, right?
Yes.
23.
That'll die. You still holding on, yeah. And it's completely rolled over, using its momentum to come back up to its feet. It spins around once, and you're still on it like a clinging piece of cloth. And it's You can almost feel the frustration in the creature as it steps back and forth, and debris from the broken boards of the shed and all beneath you. Yev at this point is moving into range with the sling. It is your turn.
Having managed to stay on and barely able to feel the damage that has occurred to her with all of the adrenaline coursing through her, she roars in to Arnox's face. You leave! You leave my face alone! This is my home! You will not eat anyone I know! And then she's gonna punch. Actually, no, I think she does want to try and scare it, given her proximity to it, and up it in its face. So if that's the action, then that'll be my action.
Okay, roll animal handling.
I'm gonna reuse my inspiration.
Okay.
Or not reuse, I'm gonna use inspiration.
Yeah, 1 on the die, so inspiration. Eight on the die. Alright, yeah, you can see you shout in the creature's face, but it only stares back at you with seems to be a hatred at this point. Yeah, the creature takes a few more steps, and then it is going to. You feel your weight kind of go upwards. It lowers its body, and then it leaps straight up and backward. So I need you to make another animal handling, not animal handling, another climbing check.
Disadvantage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same as before.
Unless anybody wants to pass me an inspiration. That's it.
Can I give inspiration from distance? I don't know how that works.
You have to be in the scene.
From distance in the future.
The thought of Casey.
I mean, just the audacity of it, Chris. You should jump.
Fair.
Okay, in that case, I will use my destiny point then.
All right, first use of a destiny point. So pick a die and re-roll it.
Well, I'm gonna pick that one. So.
Good choice.
Okay. Yeah, I will go with the 19.
All right, so that is a 19 for your check. I'm gonna roll it. Oh, it's a natural 20 for a 28 from the Great Oranakas. Yeah, so it leaps backward away from you, and you hold on as tight as you can, but the hand comes free.
Oh, I can only use one per roll, or one destiny point per roll.
One person can use one per roll. If that makes any sense.
Wait, but does this count for it if I want to make it not have a 20?
Oh, yeah, you could make it reroll if you want to use another one.
Okay, yeah, I want to make it reroll. So that puts me down to 3.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I misspoke there. This is the same exchange, right? So, like, you can use it on yours or use it on it, but you can't use on both, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so it leaps back. You lose your grip, but so you need to make a DC 15 saving throw. It uses its Great Leap ability. So it's going to leap back some feet. And if you're potentially facing some damage.
That's a 13.
Okay. And now, so this would fail, but this is a separate roll, so you could, if you want to, use Destiny on this. You don't have to.
I don't want to, like, take away from it, but these are really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is probably the better course right now, yeah. So we'll use another destiny point on this save.
Alright.
That's miserably
There
better.
you go. 23. So you're not knocked prone, but you do lose your grip. You're going to take half of 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, so the creature leaps free of you, boom, smashes the ground. Debris all around you flies upward, scent of fresh, wet earth in the air all around you. The creature stares at you as it takes one more step back, and there's a low growl, but it doesn't immediately move to attack you. You can see it studying you, the low, bassy growl in its throat.
When she lost her grip, I want to say that it flung her off in midair, and she manages to tuck around and lands on her feet, skidding backward with the momentum, landing with one arm and with the hand on grabbing the glaive that was tucked down behind her. As it studies her, she draws it forth and levels it at it and says, "You can't understand me, but I'm about to run away from you. But I'm not going to make it look as if I'm about to shrink from you. So fuck off."
And you catch it, you have kind of hesitate, kind of in the corner of your eye. Yeah, and you see there's a low snarl from the creature, and it takes a step back.
Watching this, she pulls herself up, rolls her shoulders back, tilts her head up, and puts the glaive in front of her and cracks her knuckles, and then just stares at the Aranakis in the eyes.
The creature holds your eyes for a moment. There's a low sound, almost a huff of breath moves your hair. And then the great Aranakis turns and starts to leave your territory.
So we're heading away from the town.
Mm-hmm.
She's not breathing through all of this, just trying to stand as tall and as broad as she can until it has retreated to 300 feet or something before she finally sags the butt of the glaive going into the earth. The focus and the intensity draining out of her.
You see the sling that Yev is holding it. Yev runs over to you. Oh, are you okay? Oh.
Better than I should expect by any right. But she's going to lean on his arm and says, "Let's go back to town. I think maybe next time I don't run out of range of the walls and the archers there."
I can't believe what you did. Let's go back before it's too late.
It's a good idea.
Meanwhile, in the future, back to town.
Woo! I was worried about fighting this thing, and now I realize she can one-shot it. I mean, with a little bit of our help, we got this.
Yeah, holy crap.
I think I did something like 50 points of damage. It wasn't even bloodied.
Oh yeah, it's between 100 and 200. So
Or more. More than 100 anyway.
you got what? No, and Jess, you can talk.
Is it working? Like actually?
It is like normal.
Yeah, but y'all are gonna jinx it. My computer had significantly less than a gigabyte of spare space, and I think that was causing a lot of unexpected issues. So I've been trying to find and hunt down what I can delete. So that's all I've been doing. Holy crap, Chris. Did you just not on my turf a dinosaur?
Yes, she did.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are going to ever believe what she did.
Oh my god! Yev will tell us, it'll be like, whatever.
No,
It's just like scaring off the savagery. You just have to make yourself look bigger than it.
no. Casey's like, Yeah, you see, guys?
Exactly. I was gonna be like, maybe Casey was right again. What is going on?
What?
All right, at the temple.
Incredible.
I just want to say, I mean, it goes to support the theory you can't kill barbarians. And two, I really do think, I don't know what you did, Chris. Seriously, you jinxed the hell out of it. Chris, your damage rolls, 1 and 1. That was so great.
There were so many ones.
There were.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. It was what a
Although,
wonderful.
the one thing the game does not want me to do is to tame an Arnaucus.
That's fair. If you had done that, I mean, it would have just broken. I feel like that would have broken Chris. He'd have been like, they destroyed my dragon, they kept the verdict alive, and they tamed the Arnaucus.
I think that you can successfully tame a baby one.
Sal. Sal.
Only on a 20. So there's like a 5% chance.
All right.
With a baby.
With an impressionable youngster.
Oh, don't say it that way.
And an overwhelming quantity of charisma.
Yes, Sal.
That's true. Sal is
Also,
Sal's super. Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
and some really nice clothes.
honestly,
Mm-hmm.
flashy apparel, distracted.
I think that's the reason that it actually ran away. I want to say that Arnaucus respects strength, and it realized if you kept trying to seduce it, eventually it would have to cave to your great strength, the same way the baby did. And it's just like, no, I can't do this. I'm older. I'm more mature now. I've done that before. I'm not getting tamed.
All right, I like it. We're gonna play now.
Okay.
Kabeth, we haven't heard from you yet.
Yes, and ages and ages.
Do we have a Kabeth right now?
Apparently, I've been hanging out at the spa. I don't know.
Yeah,
What have I been doing?
you went to
So-
bed early
Picking
after
veggies.
a hallucination.
Yeah. What's going on right now is just that you guys are packing up, getting ready to leave the temple. A couple of people are outside harvesting crops in order to take back to the town. People are kind of doing the finishing touches on getting the temple packed up, making sure that it's safe to leave. I assume you guys have planned to take Dirge with you when you go instead of leave him at the temple? Yeah, sounds good. So that's kind of just like, that's kind of your morning as you guys are preparing to leave, just to get like some presents for Kabeth.
Okay. And did we hand wave that Kabeth told everyone about what she saw and everybody was like, you're crazy?
Yeah, we just kind of skipped over. We said you guys had that conversation, but we can go back and visit that at a time that'll make sense. We're not going to do that right now, but yeah.
So I'm helping pack stuff up. Did I hear correctly that we gathered vegetables in the fields and things? Like we did some gathering?
That's what people are doing right now, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So Beth has her hip pouches belted on, and she emptied them out of anything else that she didn't need at the time, and she's just kind of wandering through, picking things, jogging along, gathering as fast as she can. Who's out there with her?
I see Salinger nearby. Esmond's out there for sure.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you weren't there for. So you specifically see Esmond just packing pounds and pounds and pounds of crops, just shoving it into his satchel, but the satchel isn't stretching or doesn't seem to be weighing him down at all. A similar scenario with Peach, in fact.
Kveth kind of walks by you, and she's like, "I need some of those. Think of all the things I could deliver. Oh my god. I mean, like, this isn't that heavy. It's heavy, but it's not that heavy. But like, think of all the stuff I could carry."
I mean, it can hold a decent amount for sure. I think I can only keep one of these. Mine is mine's kind of cheated. It's temporary, but not. It's not gonna like stop any. I turn it off basically. Peaches though, it appears to be permanent. So I don't know. Maybe we can find like an actual one for you, or you can take this one for me. I don't know.
What does temporary mean? Eventually you're just gonna put too much stuff in it and it's gonna explode, or suddenly like the time limit on how long you have to fill it suddenly stops and then it explodes. Will it explode? Is I guess what I want to know.
I think it's gonna explode. I don't want to test what'll happen once I reach the weight limit on it. The concern was it imploding and eating a bunch of stuff around it, but I managed to solve that issue. So really, it'll just stop working either until I overfill it or I decide to turn it off.
Well, sucking things into it is definitely much worse than it. Well, actually, I don't know which is worse, exploding or imploding. Both of them sound bad. You're certain that it definitely won't cause harm, right? I mean, I don't want to carry it if it's gonna like eat me if I put too many things into it.
I mean, I'm at least over 50% sure.
I don't like those odds. That's not. I need you to be like at least 80% before I'm willing to test it out. But I'll watch. I'll be on hand if you want to keep. Here. Do you want more vegetables? She goes to hand him something.
He'll just open up the pouch for you to, the satchel for you to just place them into.
Incoming!
She just like holds her hand over it, and then she kind of pulls it away, and she looks at him. She holds it out again. She's like, and then she eventually drops it in and waits. Like she kind of jumps and jumps back just a little bit. She's like, I don't think you're close yet, right?
I think we're in the clear.
Okay, good, because imploding sounds really bad, and also exploding vegetables, and then we'd have puree vegetables, and that's a whole different way. Do you think it keeps it fresh? I have so many questions. She's gonna keep talking at him about this for a while.
Nice. And as you two are talking, just to further set the scene, because I can't remember if I went over this, you see two large scarred sheep, like as tall as you, kind of at their backs, roaming around in the field. There are also llamas. Most of them look like wild llamas, and one of them looks like some of the llamas from Shepherd's End. They're sort of grazing the field and things like that. Meanwhile, inside the temple, Araya, you stand at the door to Salois's room.
I'm just checking. Okay.
Hear you. Curse is gone.
You say that, but okay. Araya leans on the door and just gently pushes it open. I don't know if she's been in this room in quite some time. Certainly not since Salois left, but possibly not since she became like a teenager and like privacy is respected.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. You haven't been in this room since you were like a small girl.
She's looking for maybe something, or like journal. Well, she's just gonna look through the room, like maybe like a keepsake or something that she can take with her, or anything that Salois might have left that's like a little bit personal, but very likely she took. Araya isn't expecting much, imagining that Salois took most everything up to the north with her.
Yeah. So you slowly push open the door. Inside, you see the very simple, well-organized room of the woman who raised you, looked after you, believed in you when no one else had. And you see the bed is very neatly made. The hem of the sheets perfectly even with the floor. The corners folded. You can see that the curtains that overlook into the interior sort of atrium are a color a bit different from like the room, for example, is when you were given yours. The fabric of those curtains just a bit nicer. Maybe such a simple thing that you knew would have probably meant a lot to her. Looking through the room, there's a small writing desk, and on it you see for the first time, you realize you'd forgotten about those little drawings that you had made when you were a kid that are there on the desk.
Aww. Rhea goes and sits down at the desk, taking like a closer look at the drawings that Salois chose to keep.
What did you draw her when you were a child?
There's lots of like the little really sketchy drawings of like a little tiny tiefling next to a tall ice elf, like the holding hands, but you can't really tell that's what they are. Like the elf is just triangles for ears. Yeah, the simple things. Oh, I would have to think more about what she would have drawn, but just the very like quintessential kid stuff, but very much so like Salois is set up as like the parent picture in most of these. Like if you see
Sorry, was there one more word coming in that sentence? Okay, sorry.
No!
I was waiting. I thought there was...
I don't know what I said, so like self-awareness low.
Okay. Yeah, and you can see that there are... the desk is neatly arranged. It seems as though you know that Salois kept a journal, but she didn't... It looks like she took it with her. She didn't leave it here. But you do see that beside this desk, sort of mounted on the wall, is a small shelf. It looks as though it has some scrolls. It has a book.
Ariel will pull those down, but like lightly flipping through the book. The scrolls she'd rather let somebody else evaluate, but the book she's going to open.
Yeah, and you see there, seems to be, it's pretty old. The spine is, the spine's cracked, and even the cover pages are bent. It's hand-bound sort of leather. But it seems to be writings about like religion, different gods, and things like that.
Yes.
You catch a bit of movement over your shoulder, and you see Zephyrus, a hummingbird, is coming to the room.
She sort of startles a little bit, like definitely caught somewhere she's not supposed to be, but then calms down when she realizes that there's no other priestesses here. Turns back to the book and tucks some of the drawings into the front cover of that book, and stands up. Are you here to tell me we're ready to go? She sort of like questions at the little hummingbird.
Yeah. As you talk to Zephyrus drifts just a little bit closer toward you.
She backs away. She knows what he does.
He looks disappointed.
I know. I'll find you some fruit later. It's much better. Yeah, and she'll pile some of the scrolls on top of the book, taking one last glance to sort of remember this like piece of her childhood, her home, before closing the door behind her.
As you take that last look around the room, you've got the books in your arms. You see that Zephyrus flies over to the writing desk and seems interested in, there's like a small cup. It's got like the different quills and things like that in it. You see that Zephyrus flies over and he looks interested.
No, Zeph, no, it's we gotta go. but she'll like go over there to see what he's looking at with the quills and whatnot.
Roll a perception check. It's a natural 1.
Oh, come on. We got like a million ways. You don't have to keep that.
I can use my inspo. Yeah.
Use your inspiration.
Not great.
That's a total of 9. Yeah, you see Zephyrus kind of drifts a little bit back and forth, then kind of flies up and tries to land on top of your head.
I do have a thingy where if I fail a roll, I can, or if I like it's not a great roll, I can add a 2d4.
Oh, would you like
It's
to
like,
do that?
Yeah. Do you want me to link the thingy?
Yeah, click the ability and tell us about it.
So, yeah. So I'm gonna add it to the total, but
It's a saving throw or attack roll,
oh, never mind.
not an ability check.
Possibly changing the outcome. Darn. I was like, oh, I have a thing that does the thing. Nope.
Another thing that you don't have to, but just so that we're aware of the mechanic, now that we're using destiny points, just for right now, everyone's got several of them. You have the option of doing that here. You do not have to. You can only use 1 per roll though, or per exchange.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I'm
use it
debating.
here. That was just
No,
just so
I'm
you know
not.
the mechanic.
I'm not going to. No, she's gonna drift closer, following Zephyrus, but maybe sitting once again at the desk. I think she would have liked some creature like you here. Not a lot of critters decide to come into the caves, you see. Or the temple. We could have kept fish, though, but we didn't.
Yeah, he's hovering above you. He's trying to land on top of your head.
I know horns.
Yeah, it lands there.
Oh. I mean, if you're ever tired, you're welcome to. But... writing, well, I don't think Saluis would mind. She'll just, like, grab the little cuppy of writing quills and just take it with her. They're saying that I should just, you know, give in to some impulses a little bit more often. Maybe that'll help. Little. And I don't think Saul Luis would mind either, so it's not really bad if no one minds except for, you know, the ethics of taking the thing. I'm just not going to think about it. No, this is great.
You kind of feel... You're not sure if Zephyrus is judging, but some sort of hummingbird-like reaction.
She'll kind of nod side to side. Don't. It's something Ava read in a book. She'll hurry out the door and close it behind her.
Right. Yeah, soft little click of the latch. By the time you get outside, you can see that Dirge is out there too. He's packed up all his stuff and he's got a little backpack on his back. And you're looking down the switchback stairs down to the farmland, sort of below. You see your friends down there.
Is everyone outside?
Yeah, I was thinking you were the last person to leave.
She's like slowly putting things into like her backpack. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I want it. I don't think I'm ever really ready to leave here. Oh, but she hurries down the steps and... Sorry!
So, are we finally ready to go?
How long were you waiting? I'm sorry.
Not long at all. I'm just joking with you.
No, just a couple things. It's hard to leave. It's different this time, you know. I left before, and it was just like, oh, I'm going to the fair, and then I was gonna come back, and now it's different this time. That's all.
We'll come back.
I think there's no guarantees. But I do have my eye on that one cabbage over there.
It does look good.
It will be excellent.
Well, according to the inventory sheet, we only have room for exactly 2 more cabbages in Esmond's bag, so...
No, but it's still small. You have to... you pick things in cycles so that not everything is ripe all at once, and then, patience is a virtue.
There's still plenty that we didn't harvest. We were only looking to grab maybe 100 pounds of crops at most. Just to
but if
can show.
If there is more room in your bags, I've got I've got another book and some more scrolls. But I mean, I got them. I can carry all of this. It's fine.
And that cabbage in particular, let us get it.
No, it's still little. It will be delicious. I can tell. You can sense these things after a lot of cabbage.
You seem so wise with that bird in your head.
Is he still Zephyrus?
Alright, so did we lock up and do all the things? It seems secure enough to leave it for however many days, right?
Well, the door was still on. I think, yeah.
Okay. Are we ready?
Are you?
I think so. I mean, I kind of want to get back. I feel like, I don't know. I don't think anything will have happened, but what if?
Oh, well, now I'm going to be anxious the whole way back.
Pretend I didn't say that.
Well, I can't take it back.
That's why you have to pretend. Yeah, I'm ready. She looks around at everyone else. Everyone? Anyone?
Beth is doing that thing where she's trying to pull something over her shoulder, but she's chasing the strap and turning in circles, trying to grab it, but she can't quite get it.
Somebody help her or she'll turn into a tornado.
Thanks. And she's okay. Anybody need me to carry anything else? I definitely still have room. And her bags are packed to the gills, but she's willing to take on things.
Oh shoot, I forgot one thing. She runs back into the temple and comes back really fast. Really fast. And it's a mug from her room. Can you put this in your bag?
Absolutely. And she kind of looks at
or maybe I could just hang it off here.
Yeah, just hang it. If I have to take the bag off, then we'll go through that whole process again. It's just it'll be safe on there.
I'll just buckle. She buckles maybe something a little bit too tight on your shoulder.
Now I look like that cool / dorky hiker with mug dangling from the outside of their back. Just yeah.
Esmond is standing to the side, just holding his satchel open, just pitch blackness inside of its infinity bag.
I thought. Oh.
We don't.
She'll put a scroll in.
Oh, Sal's gonna try and let's sacred artifacts of your order will not put in the experimental bag of limitless space. I'll carry it if you need me to.
He says.
Pull it out again. Is it really? Well, what? But that put a lot of.
Esmond says it's 50% safe or more.
I'm sure it's totally fine. Casey throws 3 quick things in succession into the bag, one of which is buzzing.
If you have infinite space in the bag, if you pack clothes in there, do they get wrinkled?
That's a good question. We should experiment.
So, Yeah, I need to know because if that's
Yeah.
the truth, because you always get your shirt and we pull it out. It's not good.
I have a really
Hands
good
holding the bag
rolling
open.
method, though, for robes.
Put it in.
I mean, I already. No, well, if I find anything on the way, I'll put it in the bag. I promise.
Okay. I think we're ready to go. All right, we head out.
Before too long, you're on the long road that leaves the Temple of the Vaden Thrice and heads back along where the mountains and the forest meet, all the way back towards Shepherd's End. Even as you were spending the first hours on the road, you pass where you found first the remains of the Ornakis. And then you are heading into the afternoon and toward the midpoint camp that lies between the temple and the town. Give me just a little bit of a short vignette of each of your characters and your method of traveling, kind of as you're moving down this road.
Yeah, so while traveling, Esmond, you said this was the initial hours, so Esmond would probably be walking middle of the pack, just kind of going from person to person, just holding conversations, doing much better than when they made the initial trek up to the temple. But also clearly his mind wandering as he pulls out his notebook and draws very rough blueprints of some of the ideas that he had come up with in regard to the lightning device that he wants to use to destroy the Arnakis portal.
And have you done any actual blueprint sketching of that yet, or is it still in your head?
He's come up with a couple of very rough designs in his notebook, but it's all still the primary thing is still kind of in his head since he hasn't had a chance this morning due to harvesting crops. He hasn't had a chance to sit down and really draft it out.
Makes sense. Well, I would say with what you have so far in that role that you got before, you have some rough ideas for what you can do, but you keep running into one problem. The key ingredient that you really need to make this device, you've got almost everything you need. But that sunstone that you had ordered to make the decoration for the festival all those months ago, it never arrived on that ship.
During the initial travels of the initial hours of that travel, there would probably be a moment of silence, and then just shit.
Casey, barefoot and traveling light, he doesn't carry much stuff on him. Sidles up next to Esmond as he says, "Shit." He smiles at him and says, "So I talked to some of the desert dwellers through the portal. They said we're welcome there, so I'm thinking when we go back, we go through and visit them."
immediate disappointment followed by immediate apprehension. Okay.
Yeah, we just have to.
Thought. How did you communicate?
Lux code. Of course.
And
We
you're
just-
sure that what did you sure that they read your message correctly?
Well, yeah, they responded clear as day. They were welcome there, so.
They responded with Lex code?
Yeah, I was surprised too, but I mean, the flashing on the horizon kind of. We just have to go back and, gather some things.
Just another reason to keep the portal open, I think. We'll need to talk about that, but with everybody. But it's either promising or horrifying. I guess we won't know until we eventually go and look, though.
Yeah, it'll be good. He kind of starts to walk ahead. Says, just got to get around the things in the sand as he's moving forward quickly.
I think on the return trip, contrary to the way out, where Kabeth was kind of running forward and running back and running forward and running back and going off and scouting and coming back, she's keeping pace with the group, kind of sticking to the middle most of the time. And she has pulled an entire cabbage out of one of the pouches and has been eating it like an apple for at least slowly over like the last hour. Just kind of working her way through little bit by little bit, making conversations between mouthfuls. And her kind of nature, she seemed more anxious on the way out. I think that she's more like happy and genial on this return trip, kind of just like out for a stroll with her friends rather than on some kind of mission.
Ava will spend a little bit of time early in the before Casey's probably talking to Esmond, challenging Casey with pebble throwing competition to make them into that infinite bag as they're sort of walking from different distances. Casey's shots probably miss occasionally when they seem like they should go in. And then she'll also spend some time with Aurea, just asking, she's sort of asking just questions about clarifying and understanding what happened with the fire and what happened, like how did that
actually ask those questions instead of summarizing, like do a little summary.
Oh no, okay, well that's the response, and then Ava stops talking and they keep walking. Never talks to her again.
It's not the response, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, so after playing this game at some point, sort of milling about, walking with people, keeping an eye out, but generally feeling a little bit more relaxed on the road. And then only when they will round corners and things like that, and she has more of a perception at a distance, she'll sort of scan the horizon and the vistas, but for the most part, she seems a lot more relaxed. And at some point in those 2 hours, she sort of drops to the area wherever Ray is when she's talking and sort of walks up next to her, and she's skipping a little bit occasionally, just sort of walking next beside. She's like, so I wanted to ask a couple different things. Like, one was sort of a medical question, I guess. Like, I don't know if it's medical, but like, I noticed that when we were doing the coal walking, it's like forever ago.
Yeah.
But like, you could either walk on them really fast and not be hurt, or you could step around them and not be hurt. But you didn't do either of those, and it like didn't really affect you. And then with the fire, that didn't seem to affect you as much either. And I was just curious if that's like a thing. And then I was going to ask you about the fire and the accident and all that happened the other day, because I was just confused by it.
No, I mean,
I don't really live in a place that's full of fire, so I mean, with the coals, I just, I concentrated and it was fine. It was fine. It was hot.
Oh no, I like definitely watched it. It should have burnt you. Like absolutely should have burnt you.
No, I mean, I was, no, I went fast enough. Like it's the same. It's the same, and I think that the fire last night was because it was mine. It's that it was
like blue fire. You could, like, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I think because it was blue, that it didn't hurt me, and I'm. I mean, it didn't hurt anybody else though, so it was fine. It was cold. It wasn't cold, but I mean, maybe it wasn't gonna.
I don't know. I know some books that would beg to differ.
But those are paper. They're really flammable. It's different.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's, okay. Well, the blue fire. I mean, obviously, like, it's the temperature related to a flame sometimes, but like if it comes from you, it may not have anything to do with how hot it is. Maybe like
Yeah. It could just be, it's like a magical fire that's not really fire.
It seems like a lot like fire. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
How did it start?
Well, so...
Is that like part of the ritual?
No, Ava, it wasn't. It was an accident, honestly. I just... I thought while I was away from the temple, I found a routine that really worked for me. And I was really... I felt figuring it out. I felt that maybe my devotion, my prayers, like even though I wasn't with my sisters, that I had still found a cadence that worked. And then, being back at the temple, but it being different and kind of, knowing what they all thought of me. The semblance of peace that I had in town was really not possible in the temple, and it may, how you were encouraging me to maybe find different ways to let the way that it's complicated. I just I think that the curse in the ring, I'm not explaining this very well, but I don't really know.
That's fair. I mean, it's, some of it sounds complicated, but like, how did the like daily schedule thing help? Like, what was that helping to do? What was it helping with?
Oh, in town, I made time for meditation. We had a lot of time where everybody was really trying to make sense, and I thought I had made a lot of sense, and a lot of the teachings and practices that we had at the temple made more sense, but I don't know. I think that what works doesn't always work, and I think that my anger got in the way.
Oh, okay, I see. That makes sense. Kinda.
It does.
Well,
I mean, you were the one who... No, never mind.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think that, still think that that's a good idea, doing things to, like, channel it in different ways.
I think that was the worst way to channel it.
Yeah, that was definitely not the best way of doing it, but I don't think that undermines the suggestion. I mean, you could still do other things that don't involve as much fire.
I took something from the temple. Is
Oh,
that like a little thing?
yeah, maybe.
I
And
took
she
a
paused.
book.
She gets really excited when you says that, and she pauses for a second. Her eyes go wide, and she does the thing where you pat yourself down to see if her wallet's been stolen again.
No,
And-
no! I'm wearing a lot of robes, and it helps. I promise. I mean, well, not.
She eyes the sort of your butt area a little warily, but then says, "What was the book? What'd you take?"
I just. Well, you remember Saw Louise? I think you met her a couple of times, but
Not very. Yeah, a little bit. I kind of remember her.
Well, she has a book about some of the other religions. It's just it's history. Just some interesting things in it.
I guess
Just a couple things from her desk. I don't think she'd mind that I took them, but I took them, and I didn't ask permission to take them.
perfect. Yes, that was what I was going to ask. How did it make you feel? And if it made you feel good to do that and sort of step outside of what you think, is like a really rigid structure, then that seems to be like a good idea to try to, like stuff like that. That's much better than the burning the whole place down. That's probably a step too far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. But I wasn't even trying to let something out. I was honestly trying to do some good. So maybe I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful.
Whoa, you did all that without trying? That is.
No, it's not trying. I was trying something, but it wasn't that.
Oh, I see. Like an accident or something. Okay. Well, that's. I don't know. I think you're doing really good overall. And
Well,
Like-
you're doing a lot more good, I think. You're not accidentally setting your home on fire. Although Esmond is blowing a hole in his home, so maybe I'm on average doing okay.
yeah, definitely. That's a great way to compare it. Because, like, trying different things, sometimes you make holes or sometimes you start fires, but, like, you just keep trying stuff, Like, Esmond or, like, Casey. Casey does stuff all the time. And, like,
Actually, Casey.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like of fire, right? Like, how does you're
What do you mean? He kind of
Well-
runs his hand through his hair, and little cinders and things gonna come
no,
off
but
his-
that exactly. How do you not set everything on fire on per accident? How do you control it?
You mean the fire that I make?
I mean, the fire inside.
Well,
It's different, isn't it?
assuming you want to control it,
Well, how do you...
there are...
You obviously have very good control over the fire, right?
it's impulse control that he doesn't have.
I mean, if you want to control the fire, I can show you different ways.
We have, like, hours left to go in walking. I want to watch this.
No, not right now. We're surrounded by trees. Trees catch fire.
Not
I
the
don't
living
need to
ones.
No, but I mean, I don't need to start a forest fire. Just, it was kind of contained when it was inside a cave. A cave is a really safe place to try to catch water on fire.
it's. I mean, it's not something to be afraid of or
Well,
be, shy or meek about.
well,
I mean, if you can make these blue flames that can even set water on fire, I mean, you need to grab
Keep-
onto it
and keep it inside, right?
no, you wear it proud like a badge. You have an ability that is incredible and amazing, and you need to hone it and own it. I mean, I can help you with that, but it's nothing to fear or to hide away.
I agree with maybe about this much of what you said. Honing it, yeah, to really small and not problematic amounts sounds wonderful. And owning it so that it stays put. Yes. Sounds, yeah. Wearing it proudly would likely make everybody else think that I'm a problem. It's not a campfire. I'm not this warm, welcoming kind of.
Casey's kind of smiling expression kind of gets a little darker as Araya is saying this, and he walks over to her and kind of takes her by the arm and walks her away from the rest of the people. And he says, Araya, this is nothing to run from. As he's like walking away from the others, he's not like super concerned about the rest of the people, but walks away from them with her. This is nothing to be afraid of, or
But if I can't control it, then it is worth being afraid
but
of.
you can. That's the thing. So many people
But I didn't.
are just no, but so many people are just victims of their own self-imposed limitation. They sabotage themselves with excuses, and they fear failure and injury, and they just hide from their who they are. I mean, they hide behind so many things, like the guise of poise or the farce of etiquette. I mean, people will find any excuse to run from the strength that's within them. I mean, they'll cling on to responsibilities to hide from their true self, or they just will they'll run from their true potential because they don't want to find it. They don't want to find their limit. But what you have, it is strength, and it is beautiful, and you can control it and wield it in whichever way that you deem fit. Don't be afraid of it.
I'm listening. But there's... It didn't fit with what I thought I wanted to be.
I mean, that's fair. Tell me about your maiden. Why do you worship her?
Well,
I mean, obviously there's something about her.
well, when every piece of light and power of the gods had seemed to have gone, the maiden was still behind. You could see her in the waters in the temple, and she healed and cared for people. If everything had abandoned this world, she stayed. And living entirely devoted to strengthen her presence here and continue that goodness, continue that care for everyone around you. There's light missing, and it's one of the ways that you can.
So, this maiden that you worship, she stayed and used her strength, used her
feel
powers
like
when all else had fled.
It's a little different, a little less destructive for start. But it's more than that. It's using them to help others, absolutely in service of others. I don't see yet, maybe, how this is something that would help anyone except make them afraid of me, and that's not kind or caring. It's not devotion.
I mean, sometimes the path forward leads through flames. Sometimes.
Well,
and to have someone such as you wield those flames.
Strive.
See, I think your maiden that you and the others worship, I think they were a person. Just like us. And just like all the other gods that are worshipped. They're just people that were not afraid and did not run from the strength that they had inside. And when you turn and accept the things that you can do, you'll find that there is no limit. You too can shape the world as you see fit.
Well, I disagree. She's truly a goddess. How could you ignore that long, hundreds of years, there was healing? Do I have to prove to you the power of my maiden goddess? I feel that Sir, I don't try to get all preachy with you. I don't really try to convert anyone, but she was so much more. She wasn't a person. Oh,
Araya, dear. I have no doubt of your goddess's powers.
yes, exactly. It's more
But
than just what a person is capable of.
But I also feel that your powers could so easily match theirs.
Well, they're granted through her, so...
Things that grant power are not always what they seem. You don't always need them. I mean, you've seen Sao with his gauntlet. I don't think he needs it.
You think he can do that without the gauntlet at all?
Absolutely he can. But it's his mindset that keeps him from doing it. I mean, I know he can. Go on, swing at me. And he kind of leans back and holds his arms out.
What? No, you
Take
don't
a shot.
understand. No.
Come on, take a swing.
That's not how it works. When you're hurt, I'll help you, and if something really terrible tries to hurt you, I'll try to stop it. But no, I'm not gonna hit you. Also, it wouldn't really help me feel better. Well, no. I think I feel more confused, though.
I mean, I was gonna show you, kind of.
Oh wait, you really, really do want me to try to hit you?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have said it otherwise.
From whatever 50 feet away, you hear Ava say, "Hit him!"
I don't even think I have an unarmed strike prepped. She'll just swats. Oh gosh. Well, like, she's got her quarterstaff that she's like walking with, and she like whacks him on the shoulder. Ah.
Yeah, roll attack.
Wait, for real attack? She can't just like tap you. It has to be real.
Yes.
This entire time when they've been talking,
She makes like a ridiculous face while doing this.
It's an 18 on the die.
As the quarterstaff swings down at Casey with his arms wide, he swings his arm up and says a word quickly in Ignan as a kind of flaming circle shields around from his forearm as the quarterstaff strikes onto it and sparks and flames fly out. And it looks very similar to the shield that Salinger conjured from his gauntlet on the train tracks versus the Aranakis that day, but with kind of a flame motif. And it sparks out, and he steps back a little bit, sliding in the sand, and straightens up and smiles and see? And he looks back at Doc and over at Sal and the others. You don't need it. And he smiles at Araya. And, wow, you like really swung at me.
Well, no, but I mean, but you left yourself very open for it. So I mean, you weren't moving. It made it easier.
No, it was a good swing.
I'm really glad it didn't hurt you though, because that's just not.
Casey kind of is looking back and forth and seems a little surprised himself that it worked. But it's like, yeah.
What if I? Never mind. No, but so you can just do anything that you put your mind to, just anything.
I
like
mean,
anything.
That's the idea. It all comes from within you. The world and the nature of it all. It's all out there, and you just need to find the strength and poise within you to be able to tap into that and bend it in any way that you wish.
No, I see. I mean, it makes some... I don't even want to say it. I understand what you're trying to say. I mean, maybe there'll be a situation where having ridiculous amounts of fire is a really good idea. I just feel that it's a very uncommon situation. Most of the time, it's a lot better just to heal others and pray for you.
You can control the fire. I know you can.
Maybe with some practice. There's a lot of things that feel very different and new very quickly. Like this shield thing that you all can do.
I mean, you can do it too.
Maybe.
I'll show you how.
Well, can you do it again without me hitting you, or do I have to hit you every time?
I mean,
He can do it if he puts his mind to it without you.
Sal's gonna clap Casey on the shoulder. I'll swing at you this time.
Oh, no.
If you
Take a
believe
swing.
in yourself that much.
I am here to heal you when it connects. I promise. That I definitely believe I can do.
Is he wearing the gauntlet right now?
Always, yeah.
All right, then. But I swing back.
You know, they say imitation's the greatest form of flattery, he says as he swings down as hard as he can with an open hand.
Roll to hit.
It is the gauntlet hand, but his hand's open.
Chris, I'm going to give Sean all of my destiny points.
It's a 25. Looks like on the die.
Araya yelps, jumping back.
Yeah. Casey is lucky. Please re-roll that.
Oh! Son of a bitch!
Freaking incredible.
Oh, nope. Use your inspiration. This needs to happen. Come on, Sean. Oh, no.
Hit him. Hit him.
Come on.
Do you use your inspiration?
I do not.
Boo!
Shield comes up. As Casey twists to the side, sparks against the flames as little motes of dust and ash fly off. Casey kind of slides back a lot further this time under the weight of Salinger's blow. I wasn't expecting the sword. I'm still working on that.
All right, who's next?
Me, I'm next. I want to try.
Go for it, Kabeth.
She holds up the warhammer. She's like, "You want the warhammer?" She points to my head, or just you want to feel the might of my fist.
Casey is breathing a little bit heavier. Doesn't respond.
I feel like this is we're all working something out right now.
Yes, it is.
Casey, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's
As Salinger's hand comes down and Casey's shield knocks him back, he knocks him back so far, he nearly runs into her, right?
Should I take a swing?
catching.
I do have one quick thing to say when that happens.
Ooh, but it's
That blade materializes as the shield appears and then cuts through the ground a little bit, kicking up some soil. Poppy starts to jump next to me, and I catch her with the other hand. And then he says, "I never thought of you as one that could block. Thought you were all speed, strikes. It's a good trick."
Well, I learned it from watching you. And he kind of points to the gauntlet a little bit. But like I said, you don't need that. All right, Kabeth.
She raises her fist like she's gonna hit you, and then she's like, "Just kidding!" And she tucks her head down, and she comes to ram at you.
like Araya's like clinging to the back of Casey and hiding, like aiming him in between you two.
That's a 23 on the die from Kabeth.
Casey's lucky. Please reroll.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Casey does not pull out his shield this time. As she's coming in, he kind of spins to the side, jumps up and over. As his legs fly up, she kind of comes under him and kicks underneath his legs. He flips backwards over as she comes through. Slides in the dirt. Dust is kind of swirling around.
Can I catch Kabeth now?
Nice moves. You gonna
That
catch
was
me?
not a swing.
Oh, we can try again.
Yeah, wait, Casey, you messed up. You're supposed to do the shield thing. You accidentally stepped out of the way.
What if we need the shield thing for later?
He can do it as many times as he needs to.
What?
Well,
He just has to believe in himself.
This is fun. I want to try again.
Well, no, I think this is getting...
He hasn't
What if we
taken
go
a
with the-
scratch. Nothing's happened.
No, that's true yet, though. Yet.
We can heal him. It'll be fine.
That's true.
Dirge leans over to Sal. Dirge leans over to Sal and says, I've seen this happen once before, just like this. The boy ended up dying in the end.
I guess we should stop then, shouldn't we?
Casey, please roll a perception check.
yeah. That's my best thing. $14.
Please erase a flask of oil from your inventory. Araya, please add a flask of oil to your inventory.
What?
You didn't notice anything.
I'm still holding my fist up. You ready? I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna swing. You ready? Let's do this. Yeah.
Throughout this entire altercation, Esmond has perched himself up on a rock and is just holding his head in his hands, just enjoying the show.
Shield comes up one more time. Are you punching?
Yeah. A headbutt is its own thing.
Yeah, as her fist comes in one more time. Shield comes up one more time as the flames kind of arc out from his arm. The heat from it is palpable on both you and him as he slides back. And the flames kind of simmer there for a moment and then come away. He's like, okay. It's good.
Like the glow of the forge. That's good.
By the time you guys are doing this, you've reached the midpoint. You set up camp. There's a small little fire going. You've reached sort of the safe haven of where the camp is. But in this case, you begin to relax just a bit. Suddenly, there's movement in the brush. Quick steps.
Casey pulls out a small wand from his belt, fires it in the direction. And a bright light comes out of it towards the direction of the steps.
Sails right past Shalati. Boom! Explodes in the background, silhouetting her from behind.
As she sails towards Casey, fist back, eyes closed against the brightness of the flare, and yet somehow she still hones in unerringly on Casey with her fists swinging across and landing on his jaw. I assume you have no more spell slots.
Yeah. The fist strikes
Amazing.
true. As Casey falls to the dirt, kind of slides back a little bit.
Shalati slides to a halt. Her momentum kept her going on for a few more steps. And then she spins around and says, "What are we hitting, Casey?"
Was that Shalati?
You just hear Quebec go, nice!
Well, I guess if maybe he doesn't see it coming, it's harder. He said he could block anything.
I think he lost faith for a second there.
You're punching harder these days.
Shalata's always made him miss a step.
That's true.
He kind of looks up to her and grins a little bit, still feeling his jaw.
Wait, oh my god, Shalati.
I'm glad to see you all weren't eaten. And then she looks out toward the darkness again.
Yeah. Vithedrian lowers the rifle, takes a step out. He looks at each of you, not to Shalati. Brief them on what's happened.
Well, I found the ruins, or the wreck of the ship that was supposed to come to town. It's about half a day's travel south. I don't remember the exact direction. It's half a day's travel away from the town, and there's a huge swimming plated spiky creature gardening along with a lot of little ones that accompany it like a posse. I killed one of the little ones and took it back, so you have something to taste, Alashka. And then the big Autolocus came around town sniffing, but we scared them away, so thankfully everyone's fine. But we wanted to come out, take advantage of, while it was wounded a little bit, maybe scout the area a bit more and make sure that you hadn't been eaten. I didn't think it would have, otherwise I don't think it would have come looking for food at the town, but she takes a breath and then stops.
Yeah. And Vethedrian says, I hope you haven't wasted your resources. We have a limited time and a rare opportunity. We're going to search the creature's lair and engage it as quickly as we can.
I mean, I ate some of the resources, but we brought back plenty more.
Casey looks up from the ground still, and he scared it away. Kind of beams at Shoddy a little bit. He stands up and kind of straightens up a little bit. Well, let's go then.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where we're going to end for tonight.
As we're walking away, Ava's sort of hitting Casey just a little pat, being like, "Stop using that wand." Every time you use it, she causes her to shriek. That's fine. It's just an aside.
Yeah.
So I would like to note, are we doing a stinger or anything? This is just out of character.
Just out of character.
I would like to know that apparently the dice really does love in-character stuff, because I rolled a 19 on that die and a max damage.
Oh, that was yeah. We couldn't see it. Oh wait, you did. Yeah, 24. I see it. Yes. Wow, you're right. Holy shit. This was perfect for role-playing purposes, but I'm so frustrated that it fits within the canon of Casey's own head and what they already know. Nobody could hit Casey except Shalati. And there was a reason that everyone's like, well, that's an exception. So we didn't disprove anything. We tried as best we could, and he prevented every single thing from happening.
Now we're just in time for the big Aranakis, the big lady, to soften him up.
I think Casey's spell slots refresh with a 1 minute rest.
God, I wish.
Shalati, you can take a short rest.
I haven't had a long rest?
Well, you would have had a long rest and then had a short rest, but you would have had to travel on the way here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Just as long as I had a long rest since the fight with the Aranakis.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you've had a long rest since the fight, but you would have a short rest.
Wait, so there would have been more than a day. Like, that would have been 2 days for her working and traveling.
You might be right. My math might be off. They left town a day before you. They traveled for one more day, and that's when you got in the fight with an Arakis. They traveled Oh yeah, they would have slept that night. So I guess interesting.
I just had it as we left the same time, and then she traveled half a day away and then came back, and then the Arnakas, the big one, came by at like the end of day 1, basically, while they were still only halfway to the temple.
Nah, I had the Arnakas gonna happen while they were at the. Well, let me think about that. Maybe I'm off. I was imagining this would overlap so that. So remember, they encountered the Oranakus on the way there, right? So they travel away from the Oranakus, go to the temple. It travels towards town, and then you're meeting.
I thought it was 2 days of travel to get to the temple. Like I thought there was a 2 day.
Not from the Oranakus though, from the town. It is 2 days from town.
It doesn't. It doesn't probably matter.
I feel like there's been at least an extra day, right?
Maybe.
Well, we can figure it. It'll be. Yeah, well, don't do it yet because it'll either be you have or you haven't. But I'll try to work it out, like where that would have been, where it had to be time-wise.
So did you want? I guess the most important part would be after the attack on the town. Did you want an entire day to have elapsed before the townsfolk or Shalati and the verdict went after him? And if not, then I guess that's really all that matters.
No,
right?
I wanted them to have left immediately to take advantage and try to meet up with you guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in my head it had worked that worked out that way. But maybe I'm missing. We don't have to solve right now. But we have a whole week. Yeah, but I thought it was only overlapped by 1 day difference.
That's fair. Still, if that's the case, that's perfect because you softened him up for us. You're gonna get a short rest, and he's still gonna be down like 50 hit points from where you.
I'm gonna be all out of rages. So
some of us will be out of other things for no reason as well.
I'm suddenly glad I didn't just heal or cast a different thing.
Well, I just came from a spa day, so I'm ready.
It's true. We're like,
Only did the sword for show too. Come on.
And I updated my sheet, so now I think everything's correct, and I have magic now. Wow.
Ooh, magic blacksmith.
Excited to see those spells.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what your class would be now. Just blacksmith is the only thing that you noticeably changed.
We're all unique custom classes.
I feel like I probably only needed to use shield once there since it starts to listen.